Are you tired? Do you grab a cup of coffee like I do every morning? In fact, I have coffee throughout the day. It just gives me a lift. Maybe you're not a coffee drinker, maybe it's tea or pop for you. But if you're tired, you're looking for something specific. You're looking for energy. Hi, I'm Dr. Snyder. Intimacy with God Ministries is Sunday's Thought Conditioner. Our word today is energy. And I've invited a friend to come and talk about this word. I hope you enjoy the interview. Now the word today is energy. Energy. And I've got a special friend, Steve Bircher, with me who's going to talk about energy. And the whole thing is that maybe you're feeling a little bit low on energy. Maybe you wish you had more energy. And Steve, I got a question for you. Now, you are a chiropractor, but you're not just a regular chiropractor, are you?
Yeah, I specialize in functional neurology.
Functional neurology. How is that different and what does that mean?
It just means that I do testing in ways to figure out how to improve the function of your nervous system.
Okay.
And your nervous system controls what you do and how much energy you produce and how you apply that energy.
And boy, I would like more energy. And just previous to this video, you did some work on me, and I can already tell a difference in that balance. You talked about two hemispheres, balance and strength and blocks that we have, and we don't have time for all of that right now, but I did want to ask you a few questions about energy. Why do people have low energy, or why do they feel so tired when it comes to neurology?
Well, your nerve cells and all your body cells, muscle cells, organ cells produce energy by taking oxygen and fuel in the form of carbohydrates or fats, burning them to create heat and electricity inside your cells. And our nerve signals are electrical. Our muscles produce electricity to do work. And the most common reason that people don't produce energy is because of the lack of electrolytes. And electrolytes are minerals that are called electrolytes because they help produce electricity. And the nutrients that it takes is oxygen and fuel, carbohydrates or fats. Thyroid hormone is the spark to that fire that burns that fuel to create electricity and heat to keep us alive.
Okay, so there are some things happening in people's bodies that for some of us, like winter is a real low time for me. I especially about January, February, I think sometimes I kind of dip. Is that related to anything? Is that related to more coffee I'm drinking? Or is that...
Well, your cells need to get nutrients in and wastes out. And we tend to be less active in the wintertime, and we get bogged down because we don't move enough or drink enough water. We don't always eat as well. We're exposed to colds and flus and less light. Light is important for your nervous system. So it all, in the cold weather, it all adds up to putting some stress on your body. And your cells need to make electricity. And the normal amount of electricity each cell needs to make is 25 millivolts. Wow. And what happens if you become low in electrolytes is that the electricity in your cell becomes less and less. And then when it slows down, then it can't burn the fuel very efficiently. So your energy keeps going down. So what do you need? Coffee will give you some energy, but it's stimulant energy. It won't sustain.
Right. It's not a manufacturing plant. It is just a quick fix.
Right. So it's helpful, and a cup of coffee, all the studies show, is just fine. But the 8-10 cups that some people drink will cause some side effects, and actually drinking that much coffee dehydrates you.
Yeah.
Because when you drink coffee, you notice you pee a lot.
Yep. And
your body wants to dilute the stuff that's in the coffee and get rid of it. So it pulls water from your cells. Your cells become dehydrated, and when they become dehydrated, you're losing electrolytes.
Yes. And
then the electricity production goes down. And so one of the things you can do to get it back up, add electrolytes, get your thyroid working well, and make sure you're getting oxygen and good sources of fuel and carbohydrates and fats.
And you said before that part of that process is creating new cells. You need energy to create the new cells to keep you young, to keep you energy efficient or energy supplied.
Yes.
But also the coffee thing drains calcium out of your bones.
It also makes your pH more acidic.
Ah.
And your body pulls alkaline minerals, calcium from your bones to neutralize the acids.
Okay, so here's a question. We asked why people are low. That's a pretty technical answer. What can people do to increase their energy level?
Well, more water, more oxygen, and
So activity.
and get that engine going, and then give the fuel, electrolytes. Another important nutrient for the cells to produce energy is vitamin B12.
Okay, so vitamin B.
And a lot of people are deficient in that. In the old days, they used to give vitamin B12 shots to people for energy,
Yep.
and they really did work. They kind of fell out of favor because people don't like shots.
Yeah.
But now I use vitamin B12 lozenges where you put on your tongue, and they slowly absorb into the veins in your tongue, get in your bloodstream, and help you produce energy. Those are really good. Electrolytes, B12, I give to 10 people a day in my office.
Sure. And how about vitamin D? Does that help?
Vitamin D is also very common in the northern hemisphere. I've done lots of vitamin D blood tests. Most people are low. And I recommend vitamin D to everyone.
Okay, so those are some real practical things.
Yep.
Some vitamins, get a little bit more oxygen. In other words, go to the gym or the YMCA or walk.
Yep.
Drink some water.
Yep. And so to get more oxygen to your brain is where that's where you feel energy is in your brain. Is if you're walking or doing any exercise, say you walk for 5 minutes and then do a short 1 minute burst of going as fast as you can walk so that your breathing goes up.
Gotcha.
And you're huffing and puffing a little bit, and go back to a normal walk for 5 minutes. For 1 minute, go as fast as you can. Or if you're riding, like I have an elliptical in my basement, I'll do the elliptical for 5 minutes, then 1 minute I go as hard as I can.
Okay.
Back down to a decent normal pace for 5 minutes, one more burst of 1 minute and back down. And what you're doing when you do the hard burst is that you're opening your arteries. You're turning on those mitochondria. You're getting this oxygen to your brain and just getting that engine running more efficiently.
Well, that's wonderful. So those are some practical tips. What if I wanted to go to your office and have you help me with energy? What would you do different than someone else that would help me gain energy, feel better, feel more energetic?
I would do some body composition tests to test for dehydration, which is a common thing. I do some blood tests to test for anemia, the ability of the blood to carry nutrients. And then I do some endurance tests to see if you can do a normal muscle has endurance. And then I have them take some B12 and we'll do the test again right there in the office and see if there's a difference.
Okay.
So we can check some of those things very quickly and inexpensively right away.
Right away.
And have results.
And was that test that you did on me just, 30 minutes ago, a QNRT?
Yes.
Is that something that would also be done?
Yes. If I do a history first and just kind of get an idea of what the problems were and problems are now, and if you had operations or diseases, and to see which direction to go.
Okay. The last question I have for you, Steve, in John 10:10, Jesus said, "Hey, I've come to give life and life abundant." Now there is an enemy that steals, and I would even put that in the category of energy from bad decisions and bad activities. But Jesus came to give us life and life more abundantly. How does that all work together? Life abundantly. Some of the things you're doing, some of the things that we talked about, just practically good advice, walking faster, more water, some vitamins and stuff. How does that all fit together in your mind, the faith part of this application, life abundant?
Well, the first thing that I tell people that to start on the road of health as a functional neurologist is you have to think right.
Yeah. And where do we go to get thinking right?
You go to the source of what created us.
The Word of God.
Yes.
That's right. And so it's just a little introduction. I just want to encourage you that if you have been low in energy, to look to some of these practical things, but also if you want to visit, maybe you have a local doctor, but I would encourage you to check out Steve. He's from Eau Claire, and he's got some great things. He did a little work on me, and I'll tell you what, I do feel, I can't tell you it all in this time, but he narrowed some things down in my life without knowing a lot of history within about 15 minutes with incredible accuracy through some of the tests that he was able to perform just right there in mom and dad's living room in their condo. So energy. You may be feeling low in energy. What you can do, we've given you some practical steps. Steve has told you some things that he does at his office, And all this really, for me, fits under the umbrella of life abundant in Jesus. This has been a practical approach to energy from Sunday's Thought Conditioner. Hey, if you know of somebody that could benefit from this, please pass it on to them. I'd like you to like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.